So last week I was focusing on doing the spraying of the logo for pop-ins. Yeah, this is where we're at. It's coming together. So this week I'm going to show you how I've cut out the letters for the sign pop-ins. So I started by taking the drawings that I'd done and using those as a template to be able to draw them out on plastic card, before taking the dremel and cutting them out bit by bit. So yeah, no 3D printing or laser cutting here. So here I am, this is me using the Dremel, and I was going to just show you how I kind of cut out the shapes that I needed. So it's very careful work, but basically I have to hold the Dremel right quite close to the plastic that I'm dealing with and just shave away the excess bits that I don't want. So this is quite a delicate process, but one that's really worth doing once you've finished. Something that I have to always watch out for is the bits of plastic that are heated up, because obviously as I'm sanding it, it's getting really hot, and it means that potential to burn your hand is quite high. So I really emphasise being very careful with this. I've done it enough times to know. So yeah, it's one of those sorts of processes. So I just carefully keep going round, making sure that I get as close to that pen line that I've drawn on as much as I can, and it ensures that I get quite a nice edge to things. Same principle for the letters pretty much, except it's obviously different shape. So this causes for a little bit more thinking in terms of how you're going to sand the parts. I'll drill out all the holes first, like for this one, the middle of the P. There's like that hole that needs cutting out, and then otherwise it's just a case of getting really close with the Dremel and sanding away those edges. But yeah, I prefer doing it by hand the hard way, but as you can see, it creates quite a good result. And there they are, those are the pieces on the name board that I sprayed last week. So you can see how they've turned out. Really, really nice. Now I've applied some primer, and then I've got an orange, made up an orange out of my Vallejo colours, and then I've sprayed it with the airbrush, so it looks quite neat and tidy. Put a bit of satin varnish on afterwards as well, and then after doing that, it's just a case of putting them in place. So I've used the actual references of the building just to see exactly where they were positioned, because you have to remember this doesn't all exist anymore. It's got a completely modern look to it, but it's something that really stuck with me as a memory, so it seemed quite important to me that it looks right. So obviously I use the ruler just to make sure I've got the length correct, the spacing and everything, and then it's a case of getting the super glue and applying a little bit to the back of each letter. And be mindful I use a pair of tweezers here quite often. I use my hands to cut everything, obviously use them, but often I use tweezers to position things because it's just neat to stop the finger marks and getting all on it as well. But yeah, it's just a case of gently putting them into place. Obviously this is sped up here, so I don't move this quick in real life, but bit by bit put them on. Started with the N because I think that was a little bit easy to position against some reference points on the photos I'm using, so I could kind of get the positioning right. But yeah, always tricky with things like this, because if you get the letters slightly out of place or the position isn't quite right, it's really noticeable. But one thing to add as well, I did actually go around the letters with a black acrylic paint from Vallejo, just to kind of tie it all in. and so yeah, it looked just makes it stand out a little bit more. The O I had to get at a certain angle because it wasn't actually sat like neatly like the others. It's out of position. And you'll also notice the letter I, the I, it hasn't got a dot. It's obviously fallen off, so that was something that might sort of catch your eye, but that's how it's supposed to be. So just press them into place, and yeah. So the other thing that I was really excited about was the fact I found these reference photos of the original interior for Poppins, which means I could actually do my best to kind of replicate what it looked like. So I made a template of the chairs and the sort of table height and things to work from. As you can see, using that like on the inside of the Poppins to show it's all to scale and things. And then I use that template then to build up the tables, but also the chairs. So here you can see me using electrical wire, black electrical wire, as you can see positioned behind my left arm, and basically I bent the wire around the template using my tweezers and pliers and all sorts, my side cutters, just to get the shaping. And having done the backs of the chairs as well, kind of bent them around the template as well, it meant I could put them together. And there's 22 chairs in total I've had to do. Use some clay for the seat, and then yeah, and then I basically had to put them in by hand and put them together by hand. But these are the bits that I really enjoy doing. Some people would think, oh god, well, I've got to sit and do 22 chairs, but for me, it's the final result. I know it will look good if I spend the time on it, so you can see like it's all worth doing in the long run. This is the tables laid out on the surfaces, and I've used a bit of plastic sort of bar to put underneath, and then the end plates is all from that template, so make sure they're consistently the same. And there are the chairs, they are built up, some of them, it's 5, and then it's a case of priming them all, primer before everything, make sure it's all ready. And then it was a case of putting some like chrome paint on, and then I went in with like a burgundy and painted up the seats and things, which I think looks really, really good.
So I thought I'd give you a little look at where we're at with Poppins right now. We put the tables in and the chairs. I've just done a little bit of detail at the back there. This one's fallen over, but basically they're kind of like dividers. They have like a little curtain that goes along the top. In here we've got this is where the till used to be, that's how it was. And then on this wall over here will be a mirror. As you can see in the references, that's kind of how that used to look. So I popped the sign on at the top there, which I'm really happy about, really looks good. And then like with the decal on as well, Poppins logo, that will sit somewhere there, if you can imagine that. Yeah, thank you for watching this week, following this journey. It's all coming together slowly, and I'm really quite looking forward to fitting all the pieces of the jigsaw together. So stay safe in the lockdown, and please like and subscribe if you want to, and yeah, I'll see you next week.